I am joined here today by Steve Jacobson.
I'm gonna have to start something that people at least can trust what they hear. But just tell everybody what the truth is, because the truth works. So you can't do this business unless you have tight systems. You just can't. But at the end of the day, it's about helping and serving people. I mean, every mortgagee is faced with the same challenge, which is speed. You've got to be fast. In a second, we can do 20 deals, great. We do the 21st one, we screw up, they think we're terrible. That's a good Lord thing, Josh, because you can't, I mean, it's not, there's no credit here. It's just trusting and knowing that that's what we're here for. If the good Lord puts you in spots where you think you can help, and maybe you can, that's enough for me.
Welcome to an extra special episode of the Made to Be Great podcast. I am joined here today by Steve Jacobson, the CEO of Fairway Home Mortgage. Welcome to the show, Steve.
Josh, you are more than welcome. I'm humbled to be asked to visit with you a little bit, so let's roll.
Thanks, man. Well, a lot of people in Fairway call you Jake, so just so people know, as we roll through the interview, I may just naturally say Jake instead of Steve, but it's the same person. So, Jake, tell us a little bit about your story, how Fairway started, why Fairway started. We'd love to hear that.
Well, it's one of those. It's like we never know what's around the corner of our lives, right? And so I never had any vision or thought about doing anything as having my own business. I was with the place for almost 13 years. Left there because they had changed leadership at the top, and the leaders were great, but they didn't know the mortgage space. And you say, what does that mean? I was raised having docs at title 3 days early. I always thought that if you want to do a lot of loans, you have to have docs there Tuesday for a Friday closing, Wednesday for a Monday closing. And the company that I was with, when the changed at the top, they didn't think that was efficient, and there was too many days early. And it's like, well, come on. I mean, if you want to impress people, you impress people by how you close. I mean, you can have the best operation in the world if you close a loan in 8-9 days, but the docs aren't there, or the docs are the day of, or whatever. You look like an idiot. So I left because of systems. Went to a place for really just a minute or two, and everything I was told there wasn't true. So I was very embarrassed to be at my age, to think I kind of figured I knew a little bit about the business, and realized I'm gonna have to start something that people at least can trust what they hear. So you may call me the dumbest person you met, which is fine, but just tell everybody what the truth is, because the truth works. So that was 1996, and so it was more of going to start something that people can trust what they hear, and that's really the background of the why. And then just tight systems. I mean, to close a lot of loans, and you say, what does that mean? Well, I'm old enough that I had to close 30 loans a month to justify doing this. You say, why is that? Well, when your average loan amount is $40,000, you get paid $200 a file, $6,000 a month. You better frickin' roll and close some loans. And so you say, what does that matter? Well, it just means you learn how to do stuff quickly, and you learn tight systems. You can't do this business unless you have tight systems. You just can't, if you're going to scale it. If you're going to do as an originator, you have to have really great systems. So that was really the backdrop.
Cool. Yeah. Now that you say that, it's funny. I have a story. One of my key stories at Fairway is I remember coming home from my Fairway day in Dallas, and I told my wife, if half of what they said is true, this will be the best place I ever worked by a mile. And so that was the expectation, was to be lied to a lot, especially in the recruiting process. And I could say happily 9+ years later, it was all true and then some, and that's never been the case. So culturally, telling the truth is something that, sadly, it seems like a rare thing, particularly in the recruiting space in our world. So that's something I've always been grateful for. So that part of the why has certainly lived on, and 30 years later, still rolling,
Hey, we each have opportunities each day We all get recruited, myself too, which is funny how this industry is. But at the end of the day, it's about helping and serving people. And when somebody says, after 30 years, if they say something nice or whatever, it really doesn't matter because it matters what we do today. We could have done something great. It's like athletics. You can have 3 basketball games in a row. You do great. If you don't do good today, you're not good. So the discipline of this industry and the speed required by the clients. I mean, every mortgagee is faced with the same challenge, which is speed. You've got to be fast. I mean, the expectation in today's world is like right now, swipe, 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 swipe. So you better have systems set up for speed. Doesn't matter who the mortgagee is. Otherwise, you're not going to be considered good.
Right.
And we're all graded each day, yes or no. So when somebody says something nice, it's great in the moment. But if we don't take care of it, like I'm watching the street as I'm talking to you. So I'm even, I've responded to emails since we've been on the call, which is fine. I mean, it just, but that's a discipline for all of us. It's almost like the price of admission these days. Is you better have some systems set up that you can respond to the client quickly.
Yeah. Yeah, you're right. And that's another point about Fairway. Like if somebody asks me what's different about Fairway, one of the big things is that you as the head, the leader, you were an originator and you closed a ton of units and you understand. I mean, that's a different perspective and a different reality than someone who, went to school to learn about mortgage banking and then opened up a company and they never sat across the table from a client who expects to move their family into a home. And like you said in the past, there's no jack for the shack. Like you did your job as the loan officer, everything's fine and underwriting, clear to close, and then docs aren't there, money's not there on time, you lose reputation. And it's reputation is slow to earn and really easy to lose, right?
In a second, we can do 20 deals great. We do the 21st one, we screw up, they think we're terrible. And that discipline, I mean, that scoreboard, I mean, let's face it, that's part of the fun. I mean, if you go to a basketball game or football game, what's the first thing you ask? What's the score?
Yeah.
And so we have a scoreboard every day. All of us do. Every mortgagee does. And we got to play. And it's not what people say they're going to do. It's what we do. All of us. We can say we're going to do this, this, this. Words don't mean much. It's the actions and the consistent actions to take care of the Joshes of the world that are important. And we're all graded based on what we do, not what we say.
Yeah. Yeah, I appreciate that. And I know everyone on the street in my world and your world appreciates that. You mentioned basketball. Do you want to tell the viewers your personal story there?
There's not much to say. There's not much to say, big boy. It was, was on a college basketball team in Wisconsin. The goofy part is, the best part of that is, I could show you. This is, if you saw this, these are the texts just from the last day and a half from all my college teammates. Wow. All of us are still buddies. We're all close. We still text, and it's just the best part of athletics is really the relationships you form, and you go through stuff together because you do.
How to overcome adversity, yeah.
Adversities and the highs and lows. And I would assume any person that's played at any level of athletics, the best part is the relationships. You see how people react to good stuff, bad stuff, and at the end of the day, everybody's career ends. So then the question is, what do you remember for, and how you treat your teammates, and how you treat situations, and that's really what it's all about, is how you treat people.
Yeah. How has that? How has your background with athletics and taking care of people and learning how to be a teammate? How has that shaped the way that you built Fairway and the way that you lead Fairway today?
I don't think anybody that played in a college athletic background, I say college because I think college, depending how good somebody is, becomes work. Your practices are 2.5 hours a day, and a lot of those days are not much fun. And so you have to you get used to a discipline of grinding and working through the adversities and the stuff and the highs and lows. You can't just call your mom or dad and say, I'm going to quit. If practice is hard, you got to keep going. And I think the background of athletics is good because of how hard it can be. Not all of us can be a Michael Jordan, right? And so I just think that discipline, this industry has never been easy. which is part of the fun. If anybody says, I got it, well, do you really? I mean, come on. I mean, if we closed 25 billion last year, just under 26 billion, that's probably 1% of all the loans in the country. So it's nothing. But it's not a bad number. It's not a great number, but it's not a bad number. It's 1%. There's a lot of stuff out there. There's a lot of people, and so it's competitive. Well, guess what? People shouldn't be scared of competition. You either. I mean, people are gonna shop. So what? It's like bring it on. Let's go. So I think the competitive background, the fact that there's adversities every day, is what you learn through athletics, and you learn to rely on each other. Nobody does it by themselves. And as an athlete, you don't do it by yourself. You have a team, and your brothers and the people that you grow with, and they've had losses. People die. People get sick. I mean, life is not easy, and you learn to rely on each other, whether it be your faith, your family, your friends, and you lean on all those as you go through life. And when somebody's hurting, you help them. Just like if you're going through something, we're going to help you. I think that's what it's all about, is helping and serving people. We always learn from our losses, not our wins. And I do believe this industry is a lot about that. The last 4 years for the industry, it's not been easy for anybody on straight commission. Since you figure 2022, 2023, 2024, 2025, that's a minute. Yeah. And anybody that says, yeah, it hasn't been easy for anyone. Guess what? So what? Complaining doesn't ever help anybody. You just got to roll, keep playing.
Yeah, I love that saying. I don't know when you coined that term, but I've heard it quite a bit. Keep playing. Something I think of often on a day where I feel low on energy or wins, is to just kind of like rest and keep playing.
Well, we never know, when the good Lord's going to take us home. We just never know. But we also have choices for our families on how we handle the adversities in life. And we have people around us watching. I have a son over my shoulder. I mean, you want people to see you keep going. I mean, if you quit, the what if never hits you, or you never answer the what if. I don't know. I quit. But if you keep going, there's always beauty in the journey. 30 years of Fairway, there's been a lot of highs and lows. That's part of the journey, so you learn through your process. That's for sure.
Yeah, and I think just thinking back to like the last 5-6 years, even the last few years were difficult because things kind of slowed down. Total units sold nationwide was down. Profitability was a little down. But even before that, I remember one of the key, I feel like, signature stories of Fairway, for me at least, since the 9 years I've been here, is what happened, what you decided to do in 2020 with the cardio equipment, for the company at a time where there was a tremendous amount of uncertainty about, cash flow, profitability. There was margin calls. For anybody listening to this in the mortgage industry, probably know what that is. Do you want to share a little bit about the why or the heart behind what caused you to make that move at a time when cash was probably?
It was past that point. I mean, that year was interesting. March, April was the margin calls, and really all the margin calls were for the whole industry. I mean, anybody knows this. I mean, that's in that seat. You lock a loan, let's say at 6%, and the market went to 3% in a minute, or 4%. So the investor says, hey, you're not really going to deliver that loan at 6%, so we want the money up front, margin call. We'll pay you when it closes, but that's 30 to 45 days. The whole industry got through that, and it kind of settled. It settled mid-year, like it settled down like June, July, August. So during that time, of course, COVID happened. Every mortgagee had to deploy people at home like in a minute, which we did too. And so we said, hey, we're going to make sure people have a choice to stay healthy and work out. And that decision was over $22 million that people ordered cardiovascular equipment that Fairway paid for. If somebody left Fairway, they still have the equipment. And you say, well, why'd you do it? Sometimes you follow the nudges from above, and you just got to trust that it's the right thing. if you share that story and say, you spent what on what? Guess what? It's part of the journey, right? And you're going to learn through your decisions. I don't regret that decision. I mean, I know it helped people. We had people thanking us, and during that time in the country, it's like anything. Everybody needs hope, and sometimes just hey, thank you for thinking of us. Thank you for helping. Da da da. Hey, I have to leave the industry. I'm leaving Fairway. Whatever. Should I give this back? No, keep it. You know what? We don't want to use. We don't want all this stuff back, and whatever. So, just something we did. Each day, you have opportunities to make decisions, and sometimes it's just following the nudge from the man upstairs, and you trust and roll.
Yeah, it's something that stood out to me about that was that, like a lot of things, is that you seem to make decisions a lot of times based on one of the things you said there, nudges from the Lord above, just heart, caring for people. It's not from a sense of like maximum profitability. It's much more heart than that.
There's money in this industry. You have to make money in any company, obviously, to whatever. But the money's never been the why. I mean, when you're raised in a small town, any small town probably, but like where I was raised in Wisconsin, where we didn't have anything. But you didn't worry about it either. I mean, you played sports, you played this, you did baseball, football, basketball, you did stuff, you're outside, you're playing with your friends. We never worried about this or that money. I mean, we just didn't even think about that. And, I believe this, and I'm sure you've seen this and people have seen it. A lot of money's bad, a little money's bad. I mean, you all need money we do, but I mean, it's not like it's not the goal. The goal is to help and serve people, and there's days where things happen that you got to make decisions like right now to honor that discipline. And then you might not know all the answers when you do it, like that. You say, you did that? I said, yeah. Did you know how much it was going to cost? I had no idea. Zero. Somebody's just got to go. So.
Yeah. That's
But that's a good Lord thing, Josh, because you can't. I mean, it's not. There's no credit here. It's just trusting and knowing that that's what we're here for. And if that decision gets explained to someone and it helps somebody else to lean into their faith more, then that's good. So it surely isn't. I'm not looking for any zero attention for it. It doesn't matter. That's not the point. So.
Yeah. I feel that from you, and I appreciate you even acknowledging and talking about it, because I know, having known you for 9+ years, I know that that's not why you did it. It was a heart thing. It wasn't for the publicity or the story. It was out of a genuine care for the teammates, and I certainly felt that. Something else that I thought was really cool that is a semi-recent thing in the history of Fairway is the Faith Summit that happened. Do you want to share, what prompted that? Was that a nudge?
Yeah, you get 4,300 people. You have people believe in everything. You have people that are Christians, non-Christians. I mean, every religion. And the truth is, it's not our job to judge any of it. It's our job to create the right platforms. And if you're a Christian, there's opportunities at being one. And what happened is people reached out to me and said, "Hey, can we have a Christian faith summit?" Well, we've had 2 now, and the truth is, it's not for everybody, right? And there's no judgment if people don't. But we've had, I think, 125 to 150 people, 2 years in a row. We bring in speakers, and really, it's just a matter of people sharing and getting comfortable to be vulnerable, because we can look on Facebook or Instagram and everything looks wonderful. Hey, everybody's got stuff. All of us are kind of a mess. And sometimes it's okay to share those vulnerabilities with people next to you, and you build bridges with people, when you share your vulnerabilities and the stuff we all go through. I'm not ashamed. I'm got as many problems or challenges as anybody else, but so what? And that's life. I mean, if you've lived long enough, you're going to go through stuff. That's the way it goes.
Yeah, I appreciate the humility on that. I think when, as I've done several now podcast episodes with branch teammates here in Orlando, that word has come up more than once describing you and the culture here is humility. And that's something I've always appreciated. Yeah, number one, core value.
Yeah, we got away from it a little bit. We probably closed a little too much in 2020 and 2021. We had years of 65 to 75 billion, and what we learned is that's too much volume for an IMB. So what does that mean? It's just to be able to have the right mix, and I'll just leave it at that. And knowing, respecting the price discipline you have to give the street, and respecting that the CFPB really kind of went away, and so every state thinks they're the CFPB. And so you say, well, Steve, if somebody watched that, the truth is the truth, and you have to have an infrastructure to show regulators what you're doing and that you're doing it the right way. I mean, at the end of the day, all anybody cares as an independent mortgage banker is two things: what's your cash and what's your compliance. That's really it. They want to make sure you have money in case there's issues, and they want to make sure you're doing the right stuff. And so you have to, in order to create the infrastructure to do those things, to do the compliance part, it's hard to be really big as an independent mortgage banker and keep the price tight. And you have to get the price tight, because if you're going to, for example, if you have your preferred list clients that refer you a deal, you can't lose a loan to price, Josh. You got to get those loans. If you have 10 loans referred to you and you get 9 of them, you're mad about the 10th one. And us originators, you say, really? Yeah, that's the way it goes. And so you have to give the originators the ability to be really aggressive. And anybody watching, if they do, they know that's true. We have to. I'm not losing loans to people. We say, well, that's not, well, I mean, come on. If you're really an originator and you have a background as an originator, you know what I'm talking about. You just can't, it affects your mind space. If you lose 3 loans this week, you're pissed.
And a lot of and people who haven't been in the seat like you were wouldn't probably understand that it's not just because as an originator, we of course we don't want to lose that 10th loan in that example, but more so than that, our mind instantly goes to, well, that realtor who sends me 5 clients a year, now they're going to find somebody else. So
Can't happen.
you know,
All us mortgagees, I don't care who it is, all of us, we have to have systems set up that our preferred clients don't go someplace else. As an originator, you don't have more than, this is just the truth. I mean, you have 8 to 15 referral sources. That's it. You don't have 50. You have 8 to 15. You say, what does that mean? If you at the end of the year add up who gave you deals, there isn't that many to give you more than 4 deals a year. And so that group, whoever that is, they cannot be sending stuff to someplace else. If you don't get that deal, Josh, you're right. You may lose that referral network. Can't do it. Just can't. So it's like, well, Steve, what if every mortgagee thinks the same? They should. They should. Every loan officer, I don't care what mortgagee they're working for, they have 8 to 15 client referral sources if they're really good at what they do. Can't lose it. Got to be competitive. Let's go.
that's unique. I think that's one of the very unique things about Fairway is that your leadership in that goes down through every department of the company, and that's definitely, in my experience, not the norm in our industry. Usually,
I
it's
think
like,
it's the price of admission. I don't think, I mean, I would think if you had 10 CEOs, I can't imagine, if they originate, if they were in that space, I cannot imagine them looking at it differently. Not today. It's too competitive. It's too much stuff going on. There's too easy to shop. There's too much social media. There's too much posting. There's too much swiping and going next, swiping, go next. You got to be aggressive. It's almost like the price of admission. If you're going to play, you got to, hey, big boy, the spotlight's on, scoreboard's on, let's go. And anybody that can't circle that mentally, I kind of feel, I mean, it's like you got to play. The heck's going, I mean, you got to play.
that you do. That
So
you do. One of the things I thought about that I don't want to go past is the systems. You mentioned systems when you talked about size and scale. One of the things I remember coming back telling my wife about is I said, man, if I could take a magic wand and wave it and create like the perfect situation to write loans, they thought of it. And a couple things I wouldn't have thought of, like how we have the 911 groups where there's fast help for, and we had Brent on here yesterday, Tallman, and he remembered a story where I don't know if you remember this. It was, I think it was New Year's Eve this past year, and he had a loan where the realtor said we're not closing, and then all of a sudden we were closing, and we needed some quick help, and people just jumped in and started helping, and I have never experienced that other places to that
Well,
level.
I just responded to a 911. I put you on it. It's just now it's a servicing 911 thing, so it's not like a closing deal, but it's like the system across the board. So that came in at 151. I responded at 154. Okay, so I'm watching the street. Now you say, why would you do that? Well, keep in mind, everybody watches us.
Yeah.
Everybody's watching. Well, you better have systems that play fast. Let's go. All mortgagees, all of us. Say, Steve, somebody's gonna cop. Who cares? Who cares? Let's just go.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's
It's
not
funny.
easy. It's not easy to set this up and have consistency across the board. So there's buy-in across the board of what we're talking about. Because a lot of people think, well, that's crazy that you can't sustain that. Well, it's like as soon as somebody tells you can't do it, isn't that part of the fun? You guys can't do that. You can't be consistent with that. All right, fine, thanks. Let's go.
Yeah. It's amazing because I'm thinking back to the Fairway Day that I had before I came here, and I was with Nikki Johnson, and she was responding to something while I was talking to her, and she's like, "Hey, hang on one second, I gotta get this," and I was like, "Wow!" Like it stuck out to me because I just hadn't experienced that type of speed, and the people the people on our team want to help, and they're never like annoyed that we're reaching out for help. So I don't know what the secret sauce is to that. If you have, like for finding these people, but they're really amazing.
Well, it's always about the people. We believe we have amazing people, and it takes a village for every company to have systems that are sustainable across all departments. So it takes a minute to form. It doesn't happen in a minute. Nothing good usually does. But once again, it's a discipline. I just responded again and shared with our team that you and I are having a podcast, and we reacted to something pretty quick. And it's just what we do. I don't look at it as any big deal, Josh, because it's like you make a basket in basketball where you're supposed to make them. Who cares? I mean, if you're going to play, let's go. You're supposed to make shots. You're not supposed to. You're not. I mean, so you're playing to make shots. So when people say, "Well, you do that," I say, "Well, so what? That's just what we do." Now I respond, and then one of the head people in servicing responds, and I'll just respond back. And you're on this. I'm only doing this, Josh, because I mean, when I say I'm including you because we're having this conversation. Um,
The people watching this is like real live action happening, which is a beautiful thing.
so I just put you. I mean, so Dewana, who is a senior VP of the servicing team, she responded. I just responded back. Put you on there to show you. But that's because see what that is. You can show that your customer. Because the thing is, nobody trusts anything. They don't trust. Ever since COVID, nobody trusts anything. So if the CEO, nobody cares that it's me. Nobody cares. But if you can show that the CEO responded to that, that may help you calm the client down for a minute.
Yeah,
That's it. So it's just
100%.
my little way of helping. It doesn't really matter.
And Dewana has been fantastic with, I mean, she's helped situations in my branch with people who were stressed, and she'll hop right on the phone with them and
She's
talk it
incredible.
out. And it's, it is really incredible. And I've had more than one story where which I don't even know if you remember these because you probably, just how you roll, like you're saying, we're supposed to make baskets, but it sticks out to people when you have personally called for something, that happens at a closing and you jump in and help and say, hey, let them know the CEO called. You've called loan officers from my branch and supported them, and people remember that. Those are things that probably most LOs, unless they close 60, 80, 100 million a year, never had a CEO pay attention to one of their loans ever. So those are things that people remember, and I think it goes back to humility as a core value. I certainly appreciate that, and I know the people in my world do. So something else that I just want to share on this episode as we kind of try to wrap things up here, but do you want to share some of the why behind or how it came to be about our two charities, Fairway Cares and American Warrior Initiative, and how those roll and who it serves?
The American Warrior Initiative is a pretty simple decision. The lady that is the CEO of that nonprofit, her name is Louise Thaxton. She's been here 25 years. She is amazing, and she serves the military families. And she went through a process. I remember it like it was yesterday. It was one of the hurricanes, I think it was Katrina, that destroyed her. I'm not sure which hurricane. You said you remember it like it was yesterday. I remember the conversation like it was yesterday. She was closing 60 to 70 loans a year, and her husband says, honey, you got to start making some real money at this. That next year, she closed like 275 loans, flipped it in a year, and she drove 110 miles 2 times a week one way to Shreveport. She got into a real estate office there, and it was all VAs. It was VA loans, and so she ended up working with the military, this, that, and hearing some of the stories, and we started a nonprofit. Now, anybody that would argue with Wheezy, good luck. So when somebody says, well, Steve, I said, really? I don't care who you are. You're not going to argue with her. Or if you do, you're not going to win. So that whole decision to start that nonprofit, Josh, happened in 2 minutes. Like, good luck arguing with Wheezy. So there's no credit there for me. It's just like, okay. Now, I think we've given away 430 some odd dogs later. And those dogs cost about 15 to 20 grand a piece. All that is funded by Fairway teammates. And that nonprofit has taken on a life of its own. It's amazing. There's certifications for agents, there's certifications for people. And that's, it's like if the good Lord has blessed us, we are challenged. It's in the Bible. It's scripture to give back. There's no big mystery there. So that's all part of it. Okay, American Warrior Initiative. It's serving the military families, and it's giving back. As far as Fairway Cares, that's another nonprofit that, the whole story of Fairway can't be told without really my dad being involved. And you say, why? Because the company started in 96 in Texas, and then my dad got sick. And I moved back as soon as I found out he was sick, and he had an operation Christmas Day in 96, and 26 months later he passed. But he never made it home. So for 26 months he was either a nursing home or a hospital, and he died at age 60. And so when you go through a horrific thing with like your favorite person, my dad, it changes you forever. And Fairway Cares is really a nonprofit about helping people that are going through a tragic life experience. And there's so much that happens in people's lives. And so that why is also very easy because I lived it, right? And since then, we've been able to help here, there. But I do believe, and we also have, it's called the Fairway Foundation. So we have 3 nonprofits, and I do believe that we are here to help and serve other people. And if we've been blessed, part of that blessing is to pass it on. And that's really all it is. It's pretty simple.
Yeah, it's powerful, and I think it speaks to the heart of Fairway. I've personally received a Fairway Cares package, as well as several people in my branch, and they do a really great job of making the person feel seen and cared for in in that difficult season?
Well, I'm responding here. I apologize, Josh.
You're good.
Um, um,
Anyone in the mortgage business will appreciate this, and
well, it's just, hey, dude, it's just the way. Hey, you gotta dance when the spotlight hits you, and the spotlight hits this industry. It's one of the things that's changed with social is that the speed required is a discipline that every mortgagee is faced with. It's not just Fairway; everybody is, and we all have to have disciplines of speed, um, and that's just the way it goes.
they're all faced with it. And I know you might not say this, but I before I came to Fairway, I was a lot of places, and this business can be stressful. I will say that my stress levels stay much lower here because I know I have the trust. Something else I've heard you talk about is trust a lot, and some of the why behind starting Fairways you wanted to trust, and I can trust that if I have something I need help with, someone's going to help, and it's going to be really fast. And it's going to be probably faster than my competitor by a nice margin. And that makes me feel very confident when I'm going out there in the marketplace. So that discipline of speed, a lot of people talk about it. A lot of people talk about it. Some people do it sometimes. I mean, I can't think of a time in 9+ years where I needed it and it wasn't there. And I don't know how many people could say that. So, and the evidence is on this call because we're on 36 minutes and you're rolling on stuff, you know? So like there's not usually more than minutes that goes by without getting help on something critical. And that is pretty remarkable. So I'm grateful for that. When you think about your legacy at Fairway or in life, what are some of the things that you want people to remember?
It's interesting. He was here to help people. That's it. That's it. If the good Lord puts you in spots where you think you can help, and maybe you can, that's enough for me. I don't. I'm not. I don't. I've never been one, even as an athlete. I've never cared about the attention. Don't care about it now. Never did. Enjoy the game. Enjoy playing. Enjoy the competition. Enjoy helping. And that's it. Just here to help. If you can help enough people, then hopefully, my little 5-year-old son, I can live long enough that I can share a couple things with him, and that's, it's just, I think we all have, it's like we're all going to be probably not here 50 to 100 years from now. So it's like, you're passing along to your children disciplines and consistency, and people know you. There's not a nicer dude, Josh. There's not a kinder person. There's not a more trustworthy person than you. If I'm doing alone, I work with the Joshes of the world. Why? Because I can trust it. And if you pass that along to your family and your kids, that's the stuff right there. It's not about this or that or this or that or stuff. It's not about stuff. It's about the good. It's about the character, the integrity, the honesty, and you have all that. And so to me, that's the why for all of us. It's just passing it along, and if we can help people along the way, the good Lord will bring the right people in our lives, because that happens, and you'll turn a corner, and somebody will show up, and something will happen, and that's the beauty. That's the beauty of us not knowing what's around the corner. We never know.
That's a fact. Well, you kind of answered my last question, which was what type of a person would fit and flourish here at Fairway?
I think a person that's competitive, a person that cares about people, cares about others, focuses on helping and serving. Um, and the intrinsic reward system of this industry is still amazing. I mean, after athletics in college, my question is, what am I going to get into that's going to matter? I mean, and this thing matters. People, first-time home buyers, second, third home-time buyers, when this closes, be a seller once. You're nervous. You're uncomfortable. It's a little weird. Be a seller. Be a buyer. When you're a seller, my sister right now is trying to sell her house. She's flipping out. She's a seller. It's pretty cool to watch, because that's how you learn how important what we do is. Because when you're a buyer or a seller, it flips your emotions a little bit. It's not easy. And that not easy, the pressure, and everybody says it, pressure is a privilege. We got pressure on us. That's pretty cool
Yeah.
that we do.
Trust close enough to.
Yeah. Yeah.
Any final thoughts that you want people to know about Fairway or about you personally or the leadership
Well,
team?
I just think like Fairway or any mortgagee, you have to kind of go through a process to see if we're the right place for you. I mean, I believe in flat companies. I don't believe in layers. I think layers mean slow. So if you are considering like a Fairway and you meet this person, this person, this person, and don't feel comfortable, I wouldn't do it. You got to connect with people. I mean, it's a relationship business all the way through. And the most important thing you ever have is the communication with the people that you work with. And so you have to kind of trust that. And I believe if people are patient with the process, that they'll get it figured out. Usually, to me, it should not be a hard decision to come to Fairway. If it's really hard, then I say we're not the right place. If it's that hard, then just go to the other place.
Yeah.
And it's okay. And then we'll compete, and we'll just, you can do your thing, we'll do our thing, and see what happens. So.
Love that. Well, Jake, this has been amazing. I appreciate you. Appreciate you giving the time, and glad to be at Fairway. It's been amazing. It's been by far the best place I've ever worked. So thank you for creating and shaping and stewarding Fairway into what it is today. It's something that myself and my whole family is very thankful for. So I appreciate it. Thanks for joining today on this extra special episode of the Made to Be Great podcast, where I had the privilege of interviewing the CEO and founder of Fairway Home Mortgage. I hope everyone enjoyed this episode. Thanks again for listening to the Made to Be Great podcast.
You were made to be great.
Don't settle for less.
You were made to be great.
Don't settle for less.
You were made to be great.
Don't settle for less.
You were made to be great.